Hello and welcome here on KSB TV. Today with a super special guest, we have the founder of Zen Crypto here with us in an interview, Mr. Jack Levin. Hi, how's it going with you?
Hey, very good to meet you, and thank you very much for inviting me. I actually did not know you guys were in, not in America. I mean, I don't often do international streams, so very glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for
Yeah,
being
also
here.
hello. Also hello from my side, Jack. And yes, so we have a really international stream. So the guy who is running the stream in the background is in Europe, and both of us, or all three of us, are in different countries. So really international, and that shows us like how crypto is supposed to be. It brings together the whole world, and I mean we are fighters for crypto education, and it would be an awesome world if all people could just use their own wallet where they own their private key for it, where they have no middleman involved, and just interact with each other with 100% of the possession of their own money in their hands. That would be a world I'm dreaming of.
Yeah,
But before we start the stream, Jack, I want to say something. I have to say, like, I have to apologize to you. I used a hashtag that was directed to you. And then later on, because I have such a great team, they were really saying, I have to look into it. And this is the reason why you are here. It changed my mindset to talk about this with my team. And I just have changed my mindset in the last couple of weeks. Like, one of the reasons was the documentary that came out, Hexicans and the Time Value of Money. And I have understood that I don't have to be a maxi anymore. And this stream today is filled with a lot of Hexicans and Xenians, and there's a lot of passion going on. So in the first 5 to 10 minutes, I want to talk about all those misconceptions that I had and that I would like you to explain to me so we can start learning about Zen more and more. But Case B Line, is there something else that you wanted to bring up first?
No, let's go ahead.
So we have a lot of tabs to share later on, but first I wanted to say that I'm looking at Zen from day one. It is 101 days old, I think, and I haven't minted yet because in the beginning I thought, just like Richard said, it is a scam, it is a proof of bot, it's bringing negative externalities to the whole ecosystem. So first, let's address this bot issue. Is it really proof of bot? Is it just bot that can compete and I have no chance?
well, let's. Whenever there is an argument or we're trying to figure things out, I think we really need to get into the definition of things. So, what is a bot? A bot is usually an automated piece of software that does something for you automatically. And usually you just give it some sort of a task and it does things for you. Now, people are familiar with bots like ARB bots, the ones that buy cheaper coins on one exchange, sell it for more dollars on the other exchange. There's various other things that bots do. Now, in case of Zen, it's actually quite difficult to run a bot because first of all, it needs to be powered by gas. And anytime you do a Zen transaction, you have to pay gas because Zen is based on proof of participation protocol where you just pay gas to mint the wallet. Now, there's obviously have been a release from the coin tools and various other bulk minters that allow you to run single transaction, create up to 128 wallets, but you have to pay for all of the 128 wallets. So when it comes to automation, everybody's in the same boat and are limited by the amount of money they're willing to spend. The same could be applied to Bitcoin, for example, or Ethereum. Like if somebody has millions and millions of dollars, of course they can buy more. Similarly with Zen, the piece of automation, which is can't really call it a bot because it's not an automated system. It's just a way for encapsulating internal transactions on the Ethereum EVM to get the more wallets in the virtual manner, but you still have to pay 128 times of gas if you're running that sort of proxy, if you will. So it isn't the proof of bot because everybody's in the same boat as far as the cost of minting Zen.
So I have two more questions before we dive deep into Zen. The other one that I have, and this is what has upset me in the past, because I'm not as critical as KSB Lion is, for example, or as you are. You were mentioning the OA and that Richard Hart should just burn all the coins. And why doesn't he do that? There's no ownership like this in Zen, but there is in Hex, and you didn't like that at all. We Hexicans obviously embrace the OA and this benevolent behavior that we have. So what do you say against that? Why did you FUD Richard Hart in this manner like you did in the past?
Okay, so the definition of term FUDding. FUDding is usually an attempt to manipulate the crowd to get some sort of a gain for yourself. Generally, that's what FUD is. Now, I know that there has been that conversation. It's a very spicy and juicy conversation. Everybody's talking about what I said, why I said it, what's my motivation is. Now, the truth is, I was on my Telegram voice chat. Somebody asked, why is Richard Hart always being called a scammer? Like, what is the deal? What do I think? And what I said is exactly what I think. I think if somebody is holding 90% of the coins and have a financial centralization of the protocol, that is obviously attracting criticism. And one of the ways to solve this is to, number one, obviously, very simply get rid of it. Number two, introduce a burn schedule, where actually many projects introduce burn schedule. And generally, any sort of burn or reduction of supply is very positive for the price. So, for example, if HEX introduced a burn schedule and Richard could have executed it, then HEX would be 10 times bigger than it is in terms of dollars per HEX, or maybe even 100 times. Now, Shiba Inu does it, and there's many other coins that do it. And of course, Richard says that he doesn't control the OA, but I kind of think that he does. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I think he does. It doesn't make sense for him not to have any say what to do with the OA. And also the underlying issue with the financial centralization, it speaks against the first principles. We're here for decentralized future, self-custody, and no control of any kind. And we're not here to be manipulated either. Like when somebody has a lot of coins, they have a chance to manipulate it however they like, because the liquidity is too low, the wallet that holds most of the coins is too large. You can do whatever you want with the liquidity pools if you wanted to. And so benevolent dictator and all that stuff, I mean it sounds nice, right? It's very nice, but it's not crypto is not a corporation. A corporation usually have a board of directors, they have a CEO, a chairman, whatever, right? They all vote on things, and they have the built-in decentralization by having independent directors. Like if we look at Tesla, for example, and I think Richard brought up Tesla and other big companies before, and he said that, hey, the best price performance is when somebody controls everything. But it's in the corporate world that is actually not true. A CEO, who we think is the controller, can actually be fired by the board. Now, nobody can fire Richard because he doesn't have the board, but he has all of the control. I mean, I'm speculating right now, and so I'm thinking that if we're
may I say something here, because you
Yeah.
said like he has all the control and the liquidity pools and so on, but honestly the OA only holds HEX, so he only has the full control of destroying his own product. But on the other side, if we only speak about OA funds, then there is no USDC or like, you know, and the OA never set it up like one-sided liquidity positions on Uniswap or something like that. So I don't agree like 100% to your argument that with the OA, Richard, like assuming he has control over it, additionally to that, assuming that with this financial power of HEX, only HEX, he has like 100% control over the system. How could he manage to move HEX up 10,000x if he only has HEX? You know, if there is like no fiat value,
I understand what you're
no
saying.
dollars.
I understand what you're saying, but sometimes moving things up is not necessarily the goal. You can actually manipulate the price by moving it down, and then you can get more of it at the cheaper levels. That is also possible. Like, for
Here
example,
we have seen, since HEX is transparent, right, that the OA or those big players like the Godwell, for example, are not selling. And this is exactly what I like about this benevolent behavior of the OA. So this would also stand against burning the coins, for example. So yes, we are in crypto for decentralization, but as I understand it, it's always a spectrum. And crypto, HEX is really, really new. So in the beginning, we wanted to be centralized. And I think how it is set up in this manner will be more decentralized more and more over the time. I think we have proved that with our Power of T-share presentation, for example.
Sure. Well, I'd like to see more decentralization in the future. I think it's a good thing. I think the risk of one person or a group of people having a lot of control over a lot of supply is too much risk, because the keys could be lost, they could be stolen, and again, the price could be manipulated. For example, somebody with a lot of HEX could put a position on one side on Uniswap and make it look like it's a ghost position about to sell a lot of Zen, which will introduce, a lot of HEX, which will introduce panic selling. And then somebody could just be waiting on the other side, picking it up for pennies. So that is how manipulation is done when you have a lot of funds one way or the other. So it doesn't need to be USDC or DAI or anything. You can simply manipulate by telling the ARB bots that a huge sale is about to come, and then you remove that sell position. But by then the price would already have fallen because you would be front run. So the ARB bots.
Yeah, but wouldn't we see like some action in the OA? And I mean, analyzing the OA address, there was never a liquidity position set up. And I mean, I didn't analyze like all the dollar addresses of the OA.
And I'm not saying that this is happening. I'm just saying that if the bad actor takes control over the OA, then those things are possible. That is what I'm saying. And also, what I would say is that the absence of action in the past does not preclude the future action. Because,
but I think speculating on the behavior of the OA is also nothing that we can do, right? It could go this way or the other way. It is just painting a doomsday scenario, and this brings everybody just like a really bad thought. So we want to get rid of that. And we want to concentrate actually on Zen today. Today, the title of our video is that Zen Chain Layer 1 for Zen could be out in the next 2 weeks. That's what I heard from you. And you are getting out a lot of expectations to the Hexicans, to the Zenians, and this is what we want to get into.
Yeah, sure. So I think in conclusion, I would say on the OA, if I were to do this, I would just say, hey, I have a lot of funds in the OA, but I want to introduce the burn so that the price actually moves higher. This is actually normal practice, and it's very good. And that actually is a positive thing, because it could be done, and then HEX will be 100x, 1000x from today's values. It also will give the confidence that the person who is in charge of the project is actually doing something positive for the ecosystem.
But it would absolutely violate the Howey test, because then I put money into that in the expectation of profit solely from the work from somebody else.
I understand, but somehow Vitalik can do it, and everybody else could do it. So why couldn't Richard do it? So I mean,
and maybe because the SEC already said that Ethereum is not a security, and on HEX they still have to work on that and learn about HEX a little bit more, and then they will come to the same conclusion that HEX is a commodity and shall be traded by every human being in this world. So we actually do not have the problem of AI taking our jobs, and we don't have any money, and that's why we want to talk about Zen today. And like I said to you in the green room, I'm looking at Zen since day one, and today is already 101 days old, I believe. So let's dive into that. I have a couple of Twitter tweets made by you here in a second. I will bring them up. Here we see how efficient it is to distribute a new currency for free to the people. This is what Richard Hart said, and this is what you commented on here. About that was the first principles and how Zen Crypto does exactly that.
Yeah.
This
So I guess because it's Richard's quote, he was being sarcastic, right? So he said that maybe it is not the best thing to give people free coins. And to be honest, Zen isn't free because you have to pay gas. You just have
So
to, yeah.
here's the first question about Zen. So what do you pay for when you mint Zen?
You pay about $4 per wallet.
And you don't pay for the coin, you pay for the transaction, right? But what does that really mean?
Well, it means that you pay for the transaction on chain to mint Zen for you. So you're not buying Zen from anybody. You're just telling blockchain and you're telling the contract, I'd like to have some Zen coins minted for me, and I'm willing to pay so many dollars for gas.
All right, and now we can already look into the roadmap, and I see you are spreading a lot of expectations, like we said before, a whole roadmap of what could be going on in the future. And we see every 2 weeks there's basically something new to talk about. Then there are NFTs were built. Now there is going to be a reflection token and so on. But let's talk about the roadmap here first. You have to educate Case B, Lion, and me a little bit, since we are looking on Zen, but we did not mint yet. So how would you go about it? Maybe give us an elevator pitch first to just really pick up everybody, and then let's go over this roadmap here.
Okay, so I love giving expectations because I think people should know what's coming and they should feel confident that the team behind the foundation is actually working on many interesting things and the ecosystem is growing and there's many great things to come. And this page, I think it was done by Zen actually, who does a lot of videos on Zen education. He called it Zen Education, so you guys should check it out. And what described here is all of the add-ons to Zen in the DeFi space that are coming. So obviously we have the yin and yang on the left side, which is a very Zen-like symbol. We have mint and burn. We're minting or letting people mint for the price of gas. And then we're introducing the protocols that are actually burning Zen. And when we say burn, you can, for example, mint an NFT that is rare, and you can burn Zen de facto paying for this NFT to be minted for you. So you're exchanging you're exchanging an abundant asset like Zen for something that's rare. And so this NFT that's presented there, that's a multicolored little thing, a rectangle, is actually there's only 10,000 of them. And so whoever gets them likely can trade them on OpenSea and collect them if they're a collector. And we also have the minting automation built into this NFT, where you can actually specify how much gas you want to burn to mint Zen in the future. And if you were to mint this NFT for yourself and then sell it to someone else, you can pass on the future mint from your wallet to someone else's wallet, like, for example, your friend. So you can give somebody a gift or maybe just sell it. It's very similar to selling oil futures because we have the futures then embedded in the NFT that will be minted in 400 days, and you can sell it on the either Blur or OpenSea. Next, we have staking NFTs. So Zen can be staked. And when you stake Zen right now, it's tied to your wallet. But with this NFT, right there, with this NFT, you can issue yourself ERC-721 contract, and that will allow you to actually sell your Zen stake with the future APY. So you can stake Zen for 1,000 days, and on day 100, you can say, well, I want to raise some money. I want to sell my stake, and you can place this NFT on the OpenSea market and sell it as a whole thing. And then the person who owns it next will be able to unstake with the APY. So that's the number 2. And then number 3, we're talking about lending, NFT lending. That is very similar to what I just described, except if you have, let's say, billions and billions and billions of Zen and they're staked and they're making APY for you, you should be able to stake this Zen NFT also and borrow against it, similar to how MakerDAO protocol works. So in MakerDAO, you can come in with $1 million of ETH, stake it, and borrow 300,000 in DAI. So DAI, that's a stable coin. And then you can use that stable coin to buy any shit coins you want. You can buy Shiba, you can buy Dogecoin, you can do a kind of like a de facto leveraging. Now with Zen NFT lending, you should be able to use this NFT as a collateral, borrow against it in Zen, and then repay your Zen in the future. Now, when you repay your Zen in the future, the liquidity provider will get the APY charge given to them for providing that sort of service. If you do not pay back with your Zen, let's say you bought a shitcoin that went to zero, well, you either have to buy Zen on the open market to get his NFT back, or you just have to give it up to the protocol operators. So Zen NFT flash loans, that is a very interesting DeFi protocol that's also coming. And the way that the flash loans work, they work where you can have a very, very quick transaction in a single block. And the idea here is that if you do not want to spend money on gas to claim your Zen mints and they're coming due, you should be able to borrow gas money, pay for your transaction, and then repay with the Zen that you have minted back to the pool. Again, with a percentage that will give the liquidity provider some sort of reason to actually provide liquidity. So that's the number 4. There's a lot of stuff, right?
As I see, that is all hopium because it's not all out. The Zen NFTs are out, but as I see the Zen NFT flashbot, for example, or the lending, that's everything that's going to be worked on right now, right?
Well, a hopium is a little different. Hopium is something that you imagine that it will come out someday, but this is something that we're actually working on, and we have a proven track record of releasing products. So I wouldn't call it hopium personally because I'm not hoping for this to happen. It's going to happen. So the reflection protocol, which is, we actually call it NEX. It's a reverse of Zen, so XEN, and then you reverse it NEX. That one is very interesting. It allows for the competition for people to burn Zen, and we're all about burn. You can see the little burn sign in there. So we want people to burn and reduce the supply of Zen. But in reality, it's not really about the burn. We just want the community to be engaged and get other interesting things, other interesting tokens by using Zen as a building block. So the reflection token does few things. It invites people to have daily rounds of competition where whoever burns the most makes the most NEX. That's the reflection token's name. Then if you stake NEX, you will be able to get yield from people who are trading NEX. So there will be a trading potential to get the APY. And also very similarly, like with HEX, whoever stakes the longest makes the most yield from people who are unstaking earlier before you. Like, for example, if you're unstaking in a couple of days, your penalty will be 30%, hypothetically speaking. This penalty will go to a person who stakes for, let's say, 5 years. And that's another way to get yield. And furthermore, the last reason to play with the new reflection protocol is that if you hold as NFT and it's from the rare class or apex class or limited class, you will be getting yield from the allocation from the next total supply. Now, the total supply for Nex is limited, where with Zen, it's unlimited for the first 8 years, and then it stops producing any more Zen. So people who say, hey, unlimited inflation forever, that's actually not true. In 8 years, it stops, and it becomes very, very, very small. It's going to be less than Hex, actually.
And one question to that, like in this 8 years, so like the next 7.9 years, so to speak, will it be the same amount of what users can create on inflation? So let's say like my KSB account right now, if I claim it today or if I claim it in, let's say, 3 years, would it give me still like the same amount of XEN?
No, no. It's using a logarithmic function, and just let me give you an example. So there's a built-in difficulty within the Zen protocol, not dissimilar to Bitcoin. And the way it works is that the first year you're making about 60 to 70,000 Zen per day. In 4 years you're going to be making 30,000, maybe 25,000 Zen per day, and then in 8 years you're going to be making only 10 Zen per day. So not even 1,000, just 10. Like your fingers, 10.
Okay, so you said logarithmic, so it reduces the new possible mint more and more and more
Every day.
towards the end of those 8 years.
Every day. So it so far has been 100 days. The protocol runs for 3,000 days, which is 8 years and 3 months. And every day it's more difficult to mint Zen in terms of what the formula is producing. So the mint action is reduced daily and it's progressively harder.
And isn't the price of Ethereum also a factor somehow? What happens if Ethereum goes up another 10,000x? Wouldn't it be like really expensive to mint Zen?
Absolutely. Very good point. Let's imagine for a second that Ethereum goes 10x. So right now I'm looking at almost 1600. If it goes to 16,000, which is possible, what happens to the price of the mint of the wallet? It's currently $4 to $5. It's going to be $40 to $50 in USD because Ethereum is now way more expensive. That is certainly true, which is bullish for Zen because Zen is linked to the price of Ethereum because the gas is you pay in Ethereum. Now, gas right now is 26 Gwei. If we go back to 200 Gwei next year during the bull market cycle, that will also amplify the cost of Zen. So it will go another 10x. And even now, during the day, when the Gwei spikes to 50, all of the mints just stop because nobody wants to mint when the gas prices are too high because people know that they can just wait for the gas price to fall to 15 and mint right there. So a lot of people choose to mint on the weekend or after hours when it's dark and nobody's playing with Ethereum. And so I would say that there's 3 bullish components for Zen. Number 1, Ethereum gas. Number 2 is Ethereum actual value, price of Ethereum. And number 3, the time spent for the protocol being active, which is only 3,000 days. So those are the 3 different bullish components that are linked into the price appreciation of Zen. So I would say that you could even call them Pumpumentals.
All right, here we have the roadmap. Is there some more things that you want to talk about the roadmap? Otherwise, we would go over to the next tab.
I mean, unless you guys have questions about this, I think we covered it pretty well.
So it's great to have this elevator pitch from you. Yeah, Hex KSP.
Yeah, maybe also somebody suggested just a few days ago OTC marketplace.
So the next one is here. Zen got listed by CoinMarketCap. Congratulations to that. Hex is 3 years old and hasn't been listed correctly, but Zen did that from the get-go. So congratulations. I do not want to talk about that too much. What I think is interesting is what you posted here. There are less ETH than it were before merge. 1/3 of it was attributed to Zen network usage, bullish for all EVM ecosystem. And here, this is a little while ago, 173, and this is a little bit different nowadays. We see that on this side. So how is that possible to all those EVM chains that we have?
So it's all based on the fact that most of the EVM chains actually burn gas. So when it comes to Ethereum, 90% of gas fees are actually burned. And so Zen protocol is the top 3 protocol on Ethereum that burns gas, that makes Ethereum deflationary. It actually makes it better than Bitcoin. That is why when we look at Ethereum today, and if we ever, if you guys have time, we can plot ETC versus BTC. You can see that Ethereum is strongly outperforming Bitcoin even in the bear market. And by the way, I wanted to show you one thing since we're talking about gas. So if you go back to the ultrasound money real quick, I want to show you a very interesting data in there. So scroll down just a little bit to look at the leaderboard of burners. It's going to show up on the right side. So keep scrolling. Okay, that's it. So stop right here.
Okay.
You see how it says time frame 1 day? Time frame on the upper right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just click on the 1 day. Click once. Yeah, now it's 7 days. Now click again to go to 30 days. Now let's take a look at what are the leaders of the burn. Okay, so we have OpenSea, and that's just all of the NFT trading. So thank you, OpenSea, for making Ethereum deflationary. Awesome, love it.
Yeah. But one thing to add here, usually like NFT mints are costing a lot of gas, and as the fees are a function of gas times Gwei, this is the reason why OpenSea takes like the first place here, because NFTs are pretty gas heavy, and the reason for the second place is Uniswap, obviously, because swaps are also more expensive than like claims or just normal transfers.
Right, right. Okay, so those are the top three the way that we see now. Now let's look at CoinTool. So CoinTool is the blue. It says Zen Batch Minter. It says 1,971. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, green one.
now if you add them together, we get 3,000. Let's call it 3,300.
300 something.
Now scroll
Yeah.
down a little bit more. No, not in here. Go back into the view, and then the whole field where the contracts are shown is scrollable.
You can move the little field a bit as well. If you click in the little field.
Yeah, just move that down. Yeah, no, don't click plus.
Or you see like the the white little thing on the side if you go up.
Yeah, go higher, and then there's the scroll bar. See the scroll bar?
White.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so scroll down slowly. Now, okay, you passed it. Go up
Too
a
much.
bit. Go up a bit. Okay, you see Zen Crypto? Another 500 ETH right there.
Yeah.
And then scroll down a little bit more. And here's another one. Another 300.
Another 300.
Yeah, so if you add them all together, we're in top 3. Because it's all
go up again. Completely up to the top ones. So we added like another 800 to the 3,300 we got there. That makes over 4,000, and yes, that's top 3.
Top 3. So 30% of all gas burned in the last 30 days is attributing to the Zen protocol, which makes Ethereum very, very bullish. And pretty much every project on Ethereum is bullish too, because, well, it attracts people to trade Ethereum, it attracts new users, it makes the whole ecosystem healthier. So I'm very thankful to our users, and I'm actually glad that this whole thing actually works. And we definitely have contributed to the chart. And if you scroll back up, again to look at the chart, that chart looks beautiful. We're now negative 1,000 ETH. We burned a lot of Ethereum right there. And by the way, the burn started on October 8th. That peak on the left side of the chart, if you hover right there, that is when Zen launched. That's when the burn started. And then the next little peak right there, and then a huge drop, that's FTX going belly up, and people are freaking out and selling everything. And then there was a period
and you mean that's why the fees went up in that time, and as people were still like just freaking out, they were just paying the really high gas fees at the time, because everybody was like using it at once, and that led to such an increased burning, right?
Yeah. So that was the FTX action, and then there was a slowdown into the holidays. So if you hover on the last hill, you can look at the date. Go a little higher. Yeah, go in here. So you can see that
like
this
Christmas
is when
and New Year.
Yeah. So that's where people are with their families and having fun, watching movies, whatever, right? Eating dinner, and then eventually the world wakes up to the new year, and the burn continues.
So this is then not only positive and bullish for all the EVM chains that Zen is already on, it will also be bullish for Pulse Chain, and since Pulse Chain is a fork of Ethereum 2.0. So can we expect Zen to be deployed on Pulse Chain and burn there just as it does on Ethereum, and be bullish for Pulse Chain as well?
Wait a little bit for with your question here, because I mean, you don't need to deploy Xen on Pulse Chain because it will be. We are forking the whole ERC20 set anyhow,
The
so you
state copy.
would have your free copy of Xen on Pulse Chain as well. So or the Xen you hold on the Ethereum chain will get copied over on the Pulse Chain. That includes the NFTs. That includes all the staked Xen as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you would have to build a front end and everything, right?
No, it's not needed. Front end is it's already live on testnet. So Pulse Chain testnet runs Zen right now.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, they will pump Pulse Chain in the future as well by its burning mechanism.
Yeah, that's what we hope. I think I was really hoping to bring a lot of users to Pulse Chain by having Zen there, obviously, because it would be a good alternative for people to mint Zen. So, and of course, NFTs, if Pulse Chain has NFT marketplace, then all of these NFTs should be there too.
Actually, you could also, let's say, encourage liquidity providers of Xen on the Ethereum chain to move over to the Pulse chain, because then the whole Ethereum price action would still be possible, but all the people would pay way less for their transaction fees. Would pay way less for their transaction fees, because if you bridge over Xen from the Ethereum network to the Pulse network, which comes out on the Pulse network is still Xen from the Ethereum network, like Xen.eth, for example. And so you could theoretically, or like practically as well, also put the trading of Xen from the Ethereum chain to the Pulse chain as well.
Yeah, for sure. So super exciting stuff. Yeah, definitely, I would be in favor to see good action of Zen on Pulse chain.
And then the next topic that we have is the Zen NFTs. And I mean, this already debunks the bot argument that you need to have a bot to have a lot of Zen mints going on, because now you can just make those NFTs where you have multiple wallets in one NFT, right?
That's right. In fact, you do not need to make multiple wallets for yourself. You can just mint multiple NFTs, and works exactly the same as having multiple wallets. So it's beautiful.
And since today we are talking about Zen chain and when it could be deployed, what are we getting? Like, how do we get our Zen NFTs to this new chain, Zen chain, if it's called like this? And how do you maybe avoid bridges, for example?
Avoid bridges?
Well, I heard you talking about how you do not need bridges, because if you do a burn on this chain or this chain, this is already a proof.
Right, exactly. So the way to do this is to borrow layer 2 technology from Polygon. They call it a Hamdall validator node system. And what that does, it connects to both chains at the same time, so the new chain and the old chain. And what it can do a lookup into the state of burn on Ethereum, and then pass on and make a checkpoint into the new chain, where the users with the same wallets can come and just claim the new token. So the new token would be, for example, the gas token. And so the reason why it works really well and is better than a bridge, because the validators themselves are decentralized. They are ran by different entities, and they're staking the token. And if they're doing something wrong, then they're outside of the consensus, and they will be slashed, which means that they will not get any future yield, or maybe they will even have to give up the staking amount. But what those validators do is that they link the chains together, and they can copy the state of the protocol on Ethereum or any other chain into the new chain. So that's how you can do it without the bridge.
So the next thing that I want to show is something that I have.
No, give me
Go ahead.
a question here. So but then on the new chain, do you bridge over like now without a chain? So how do you get without a bridge? How do you get stable coins on your layer 1?
Okay, so good question. We plan to partner with Stargate, which is a layer 0 protocol. They have atomic swaps. It will allow people to swap stable coins back and forth in an atomic manner without actually locking anything up. So it's a better technology than the Plasma Bridge, for example. Plasma Bridge, you have to wait for 30 minutes or maybe even longer, during which time your coins could be stolen. With the layer 0 Stargate protocol, you can do it pretty much instantaneously. And you guys can actually try it even right now. You can bridge the USDC between Polygon and Ethereum in about a minute. So it works much better. It's better technology. It's a
but that's a bridge, like that's a bridge, right? And we were just talking about like doing it without the need of a bridge. That's why I'm
well,
getting
you
confused.
asked about a stablecoin transfer, which is different than the transfer of the state of Zen protocol.
Of XEN, yeah. But then you just have like XEN on your new chain,
so
without anything else, you know. So it would be just like an isolated system with
right. So that's
where
where
it's like pretty hard to create value.
Correct. So that's where the Stargate partnership comes in. So Stargate will allow bridging of stable coins and all other coins based on their technology, their layer 0 technology, which is using atomic swaps, which is different than the Plasma Bridge or all-chain bridge that you guys have probably seen before. Those things are dinosaurs. It's like running on diesel, and layer 0 is like teleportation. It's pretty great.
All right, then let's get into the next topic, which is the Zen NFTs still. And here we have OpenSea, the platform where you can trade those Zen NFTs. And here we see already a lot of participation and NFTs to be bought. And what I saw here is that you made a statement that there are only 100 unicorns NFTs and each require 10 billion Zen. I plan on getting at least one. So which one of those NFTs should a normal player like me, for example, get? What do you think?
You should get you should probably so here's the thing. You can go to the categories. So categories on the left side. Yeah, click on a category, click on collector. You can see that collector has 8,000, so it's probably the most popular. And then go down to class and choose hold on one sec, go up again.
You're too far down.
Yeah.
So
in a class, if you click in on the class, okay, in search, actually Zenturion is the second one, 1,844. This is the best value for your participation. Those guys, it's 128 wallets in each. And right now, for example, you can buy it for 0.44 ETH, which will make you a lot of Zen in the future. So if you can click in on this bad boy, you can see that all of the properties on the left-hand side, inside the Zen NFT itself, it says 443 days. That's your mint term. You have your VMUs. VMUs are virtual wallets. Virtual minting units is what we call them. And if you buy this thing from the user who created it, you can then have the NFT pay you in Zen in 443 days. And there's a date in there, maturity date, April 2nd, 2024. Now, this is one option. The second option, you don't have to buy it. You can just go to zen.network and you can mint one if you want. So,
and the main difference, as I see it, is that there you can only do one mint, right, with one wallet. And here with the NFTs,
you can do you can do million Zen NFTs in one wallet, no problem.
That's what I mean. Like if you do not do an NFT but a mint, then you can only have one mint in Zen, I believe. But the NFT allows you to have multiple NFTs in your wallet. So
you're correct. You're correct. If you do not go this NFT route, then it's one wallet per wallet, or one mint per wallet. But with NFTs, you can go to 128 per transaction.
I mean, I see it also like as a good way to look up price differentiations. So maybe I get a better deal on buying one of the NFTs on OpenSea, or maybe because Gwei went down or something like that, I get the better deal minting
Yeah.
them myself with the website.
So 200 days from now, this NFT that we just saw will go up in price because it embeds the difficulty, which is better than this NFT you will be minting 200 days from now, right? Because like if this guy right here will actually be worth more money just because the difficulty, all of those parameters that you can see on this NFT itself, you can see EAA is 2%, you have AMP, which is the multiplier, the adapter multiplier is almost 3000. In 200 days, all of those things will change and it will make you less Zen. So this thing will actually be worth more because it is impossible to get the same parameters.
But people still want to get
Yeah,
the
it
same
will
parameters.
but it will only be worth more if the prices stay stable or like the same as today.
Correct. Now, we already talked about ETH going up, gas going up. So if those things happen, then for sure, no matter what happens, this NFT that a person minted yesterday would be worth more because, well, it's somewhat rare and you cannot mint it for the same dollars because it's going to be twice as expensive. So the value of Ethereum plus the gas will move the price of Zen NFTs, and of course, it will move the Zen value higher too.
And then the next topic is here about the gas again. If the gas price moves above 25 Gwei, we do not see Zen mints or Zen NFT mints. And can you maybe elaborate why that is?
That is because people know that they can mint Zen and Zen NFTs for 15 Gwei overnight. And so anytime the gas gets more expensive, they almost pay the double in gas costs. So nobody wants to do it when they could do it cheaper. So the gas differential between the overnight and over the weekend is where most of the people choose to mint. And nobody wants to mint during the day when the other protocols like Uniswap and OpenSea take control of the gas pump. And that actually is very, very bullish, and I would say a pumpumental for inflation, because the inflation is naturally limited by every other protocol on Ethereum, making Zen I wouldn't say impossible to mint, but just let's say very unattractive to mint because people are waiting for the better gas prices.
All right.
One side question. I mean, I know in the last 100 days you launched already on 10 different blockchains. Is it only going well on the Ethereum blockchain, or what do you think about all the other blockchains? So yeah.
So we wanted to get some experience with NFTs on Ethereum, and then we wanted to launch everywhere. Pretty much, there's no reason for NFTs not to exist everywhere. So we want to be on every marketplace, on every chain. The only reason why we haven't done it yet is because we're studying the OpenSea ecosystem and to see what we can do better. But ultimately, Binance, Matic, Polygon, obviously, Phantom, every other chain will get these NFTs.
Mm-hmm. And like when you with the normal XEN, do you see adoption on the other chains as well, or
Absolutely.
do you see like is there like a ghost chain with
No,
them as
well,
well? Like
depends on
no
the
use,
chain.
like
It depends on the chain. So the second and third most popular chains are Polygon and BSC.
that?
And
Yeah,
they have
understood.
actually more users claiming Zen than Ethereum because Ethereum is more expensive. So they're opting in to go to Matic or BSC because they can practice there. They can get a huge bag of Zen, and then and by the way, did you know you can actually swap Zen between chains? You can use a sushi swap between BSC and Ethereum, and it will use the Stargate protocol to convert it.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let's bring up the screen share again. A second question.
Wouldn't it be hard, like to monitor all the different prices of the same token, basically,
Well,
in
that's
the
the
future? Or
that's
it's like, and
that's the
also like
beauty of it.
for new people, like which XEN am I going to buy now? Like. for
They're
example?
they're all named different. So BZen is BSC and MZen is Matic. So it's they're all completely different and very very obvious to look at the chart and see it's a different thing. They also have different contract addresses, so no big deal. Yeah, I mean, here we're all about choice. We want people to learn new chains. We want people to try Phantom because it's a really cool chain. It works great. There is a new chain called Doge chain. They're using Dogecoin as a gas token, which is pretty incredible, and it actually works. So Zen is there too. So it's for people to play with new experimental chains as well, which is pretty great.
So the second question that came out of this is, what does it have to do with the total supply here? And you said that you will not reach the Shiba supply, for example. How's that?
Well, the estimation is when. So we were well, we still are in the bear market, and the gas prices were very very low for a very long time. Now the market is waking up, and the estimation was based on the gas not moving much higher and Ethereum not rallying. But those things are happening, and we now have more data that suggests that the deflationary force is reducing the total supply growth. But also Zen NFTs, when they showed up, they burned Zen because there's the Apex and limited category that you have to burn Zen with, and also the reflection token that's coming out. All of those things are deflationary for Zen because you have to give up your Zen to burn. And so we think the 500 trillion in 8 years is probably not going to be achieved just because the gas price moving higher, Ethereum moving higher, there's plenty of protocols coming up that actually burn it. And so all of those forces are reducing the future supply estimation.
But then there is, so it's still like room to grow, no? Because like the total supply right now is like a little bit over 4 trillion. Like
Yeah,
4.4 trillion.
there's room to grow, and I'd like to get you guys' attention to zenturbo.io. It's not our website, but it's just the stats website that tells you all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So click on the dashboard right there, dashboard.
Yep.
And if you, by the way, you see that drop right there, that green drop. So change the scale to to a month, 30 days on the top. You see what's happening right there?
So I would say people stop minting, or is that not correct?
It's people are stopping to mint because gas is getting more expensive and Ethereum is rallying. So people are not willing to pay the USD in USD denominated terms. It's just a lot more expensive. It's about 4 or 5 times more expensive to mint Zen right now, which a lot of people choose not to do. And so that is a deflationary force right there. You can see it. Now, if you scroll down, all the way down, I want to talk about the supply. Okay, let's look at the pie charts first. So pie charts, if you have on the left pie chart, there is the stakes, which is yellow, and there is the red, which is the burn. So we have 430 billion Zen burned, which is 8.4% of total supply burned, which is a lot. And then the stakes are long-term stakes that are also burning Zen. So altogether, 6 plus 8 is giving you about 14%, which is a nice chunk to be burned from the total supply. And there's also the green one called penalties. So the green one, penalties right there, it's a small amount, that's 1%, but it's still there. So that's what happens when people are not claiming their Zen. They're not minting it, they're forgetting about it, and the penalties take it away from them. So that,
I mean, they made the mint transaction, but later on, like depending what date you set up, you need to come back to
exactly.
claim that, right?
If they don't come back,
how long do you have time to do that?
Yeah, you have 7 days.
7 days, 1 week of grace period. Okay.
Yeah, 1 week.
And after the 7 days, it's gone.
It's 99% gone. You have 1% left, and that 1% you can claim, but it's maybe not even worth it. So
obviously.
So very happy with the pie chart. I'm hoping to see the multicolored portion of the pie chart to be a quarter of it, or 25% in total, which is again deflationary for the inflation of Zen, which is awesome. We'll see.
What happens with the penalties? Sorry to interrupt you, but what happens with the penalties?
They're burned. They're
They're
burned.
burned as well.
Yeah, they're burned.
Mm-hmm.
So scroll down all the way down now. We will look at the supply generation. Okay, so it's right there. Okay, so you see on the left.
Estimate max supply. Yeah.
Okay, so estimate max supply is over the 8 years. It doesn't take into the account the burn that's currently happening. Now, the second line, it says mined 51. That's trillion, right? Yeah, that's 51 trillion.
Yeah, that's trillion.
That means that everyone who participated in Zen's protocol, they will get that much Zen in about 400 days. That's it. That's what it means. It means that people are currently mining actively, but they have to wait to claim it. And the chart on the right side, you can actually see that most of the supply is coming out in 400 days. But if the burn becomes more active, then this actually will start dropping. And you can see that there is a deflation on the right there at the end. The chart is kind of like trying to go down a little bit. That's because the burn is burning it off. Yeah, like the yellow line. The yellow line is the yellow chart line.
It's flattening.
Yeah. So you can see how it's flattening. Here it says cumulative mints. They're actually slowing down because a lot of the existing supply is actually getting burned right now. So very interesting websites. Lots of good data. Gives you all kinds of information to make intelligent decisions with the Zen protocol.
And even before you brought it up, I had it prepared here anyways, because that's what we wanted to show the people. And this is not developed by you, it's developed by somebody else, right?
Yeah. It's an Asian group called I forgot what they were called.
No problem at all. Like Richard doesn't even know his people that develop for him as well. Like all the Hexicans that are building all the fronts end, and he has no idea what is built. And I guess you are in a similar situation here because there's so much engagement going on.
I remembered CryptoCell Labs. CryptoCell Labs. So they came to Zen early. They loved the tokenomics of it, and they decided to build an analytics dashboard. But what they also did, they're building an NFT marketplace, which is pretty great. You should check it out. It gives even more analytics and better than OpenSea.
All right, we will definitely do that.
Yeah, it's right there on the website. So when you have time, take a look.
But we do not have too much time anymore.
Let me ask a question. How much did you learn about crypto in the last 4 months, Jack?
All of it.
I imagine because I guess everybody comes like with all his ideas and whatever to you and so on.
That is the beautiful part about this. When you have so much participation across the world, it's like everybody's brain gets plugged into a project and everybody's working to create something amazing. And you get this information to you, and you're now thinking with 1,000 brains, not just one, which is incredible. That's what makes me so excited to wake up every day in the morning.
And this is something that I've moved at the end of our stream, the next reflection token. So just touch on that a little bit, because we want to talk about the new layer 1 Zen chain. But first we have to talk about this obviously as well. So let's get into this chart here. What do we see for the Nexonomics?
Nexonomics version 1.1. On the left-hand side in the top left, yeah. So here we have, actually, the most important thing is in the middle, the total supply. Yeah, let's start with that. So scroll up a bit.
A little higher.
Yeah, all the way up.
When you see total supply.
Yeah, so total supply is 1 million NEX. Supply
100 million NEX.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 100 million NEX distributed over 5 years. So that is how people can come and claim with participation. Now, on the right-hand side, you can see claimable bonus in mints. And the Apex and various other NFT holders, we haven't decided how to include them yet. If you're holding as NFT, you will be automatically getting the portion of the supply over time, specifically over 5 years. So if you're holding it for the 5 years, it actually makes you less willing to sell it, to get rid of it. And you can mint next just by holding this NFT, which is one of the benefits for being as an NFT holder. Now, the 50% of this 20% that's split goes to the monthly highest burners of Zen, right there. So if you are in the top 100 burners for each month, you're going to get this 10% allocated to you from the total supply. Now, if you go all the way to the left again, let's talk about the rounds. So the rounds is where the things get really interesting. So Zenian 1 and Zenian 2, those are the hypothetical players within the round. The round lasts 24 hours. One user comes in with 1 billion Zen to burn. The other one comes in with 2 billion Zen to burn. Their distribution is split 33 to 67%. And at the end of the round, they can claim their next reward. Now, let's say that some sneaky Zenian number 3 comes in and says, oh, by the way, those guys are weak sauce. I am the OG. I hold 10 billion Zen. I'm just going to take over. So what they can do is they can say, I'm going to be putting in 5 billion Zen to burn. I will take 70% of the distribution. Now, the tricky part is that you do not want to burn all of your Zen, because the next round is coming tomorrow, and then there will be another round, another round, and another round for the next 5 years. And so you want to burn the minimum amount of Zen based on the participation of the burn, so that you can actually win the round, but not win it completely, because it's like playing with an ace. You coming in and you come to the poker table and you could say, here's my ace, who wants to play against me? And nobody wants to play because everybody's folding and your pot is microscopic. So that is the same type of game theory mechanics right here, where you want to look at the dashboard, you want to see who is playing with what, and then you decide how much you want to burn during this round. Now, every time there is a round, if you go to the middle of the page, you can see that the rounds are getting smaller, smaller, and smaller. So round 1 is 10,000 next. Round 2 is it's right there on the right side if you move your mouse a little bit higher. Okay, right there's those three.
Yeah, round 1, round 2, round 1,825.
Yes. So the rounds are getting smaller. So you have more incentives to get in earlier, because each following round will have less next emissions. So you need to think really hard here. Do you want to burn most of your Zen during the first few years, or maybe in the middle, or maybe at the end? Should you get this NFT and actually get even more claimable bonus, that sort of thing? Now, and we haven't even talked about the reflection yield part yet, which is at the bottom. And that's where things get really interesting. So when you hold NEX, you can stake it. And when you stake your NEX, you're actually, first of all, you're getting the yield from all of the unstaking penalties. So whoever stakes the longest takes everybody's unstaking penalties, which is not dissimilar to HEX, I would say. The other thing that's important to note is that when NEX is traded, 0.2% of the trading fees will go to the NEX stakers. So the higher the volume of trading of NEX, people who are selling NEX and buying it will actually end up benefiting the stakers. So they will be getting automatic rewards in NEX coming in. So that's what we call the reflection yield stream. And let's see.
And as I understood, this is all being created right now, being thought of right now. It's not set in stone, because you have to figure out the game theory first. There's still some numbers changing and so on. So I think that's really interesting.
Yes, so I wanted to post it up on Twitter so that the community can look into it and make suggestions, ask questions, and put us on the right path. And I believe the community voice obviously should play a big role in the design before we actually get to work, because everybody will get the product that they're gonna love, they're gonna use, and we'll just enjoy for a long time. So that's why we're just giving it out for people to look at.
I mean, one suggestion from my side would be, instead of doing straight 0.2% of transaction fee, I would do like more like 0.19.
Okay.
Because like then for the people who are paying it, it looks like 1.9, and for the people who are getting it, it looks like 0.2.
Okay, good point.
0.1 and
Good
0.2.
point. That's going to be KSB's Lions pull request. So when we code
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
we're gonna give it a tribute to you as an author of the suggestion.
So I'm done with all my tabs, and now I think we should spend a little bit time for asking questions, maybe in the chat. So everybody who has asked questions, put them in the chat right now, and we will go through a couple of them. And one of the questions that we have to ask now is because of the layer 1 that you were about to bring out. What was the idea behind it? Why is the Zen chain needed?
It's needed because people want it. And I actually asked people, why do you want another layer 1? Like, what is the deal? And people tell me, if you build a layer 1, then we can build amazing products on it, and we can give Zen more utility, which actually makes sense. So I listened, and I figured it's probably a good idea to do one.
And I guess the layer 1 will result into a lot of burning of Zen, and the community is asking for you to burn HEX as well. So could you imagine doing something like this as well in your Zen chain?
Burn HEX?
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? Let's burn it all. Burn it all and give everybody value. I mean, now ultimately, the burn is just a word. Burning in itself has no meaning unless it has economic sense. So it only makes sense to burn anything that actually gives people more value. If that happens, then of course it makes sense to do. And so with the new chain, we're thinking that all of the Zen that's burned on all of the 10 chains will convert to the value token, which will be a gas token or a utility token on the new chain that people can use for gas. So it's kind of like, it's very interesting because you have to give up your Zen on Ethereum, burn it, and then you can claim the copy of it on the new chain. And if you're a validator, you can stake it and earn yield in this new token because of the chain's collection of fees.
So you have not published the name of this gas token yet. And somebody from the community asked, is burning Zen making you eligible for a free mint to the native token of the Zen chain?
Absolutely. All of the burned Zen today will translate into the new deflationary token on the new chain. So even if you're burning now or you burned a bunch in the past, like for example, I burned 10 billion for a Zunicorn. Zunicorn is this NFT. That means that my wallet that holds this NFT can actually get the new token on the new chain.
And another question is
one detailed question to that. If I mint this NFT and then I send it to another wallet of mine, for example, will it still recognize that I burned 10,000 the 10,000 XEN, or do I need to claim like the new one with the other address then?
It will recognize your original wallet because the original wallet is the one that minted this NFT, and it was the wallet that actually burned the Zen. So even if you get rid of this NFT, the record on Ethereum remains for your original wallet.
All right, yeah. Got you.
So it seems like that everybody is talking about Zen always on the Ethereum chain, but it's also deployed on all the other chains. And somebody has heard that you said if you burn Zen on Ethereum, you get a one-to-one copy of your gas token of the Zen chain. Does that also count on all the other chains? If you burn Zen on, let's say, I don't know,
Avalanche, Polygon, BSC.
Yeah. Do you also get a one-to-one?
Definitely not, because the cost of creation of Zen on Polygon and BSC is like a fraction. It takes 5 cents to mint Zen on Polygon. So comparatively to Ethereum, it's 100 times difference. So the ratio will be set based on the average gas used.
All right, of the average gas use. I think that's exactly what the user wanted to know. And now we have a lot of questions that are coming from this chat. Actually, those questions that I just had is just something that I was accumulating privately. And somebody is mentioning the minus 10,000x. And this is also something that has put me away from Zen in the beginning, because I have not understood that this chart that everybody's seeing that is going down to the right only basically is not really the experience of the Zen user, because the Zen user is not buying Zen. The Zen user is minting it and even waiting, deferring, and getting more Zen than on this special day, right? And then when he gets all his Zen, then it's probably worth more than he paid for. And this is the usual experience from what I have talked to with the Zenians.
Yes. There's two types of people who are participating in, actually three types. There is a type of people that mint Zen for the long term, for 400 days plus. They cannot sell right now because, well, their mints are coming much later. Like, for example, I am in the same boat like this group. I don't have any Zen. All of my Zen is in the future. In 2024, I'll get a bunch of Zen and I'll be very happy. But I cannot sell now because I don't have it. Now, the second group are the short-term speculators and arbitrage monkeys. They look at the Zen chart and they say, I can mint Zen for 20 days and then I can sell it on the market, which is a viable strategy. It works great for marketing. They're actually making money. So those people who participated early, they made 3 times, 4 times of the money invested in gas, especially if they minted over the weekend or during the low gas times. So that's the second group. And then the third group, those people, they don't know anything about Zen. They see a chart. They see the pump, they see the dump, they buy it, they sell it, they trade it, they don't care about anything, and they just provide liquidity between themselves. And by the way, there's actually, I have seen a person, and I have seen that situation on the Etherscan, on chain. A person bought $20,000 worth of Zen for 5 zeros and 2 and sold it for 5 zeros and 6 the next day. So he made $40,000 by investing 20,000, and the guy was smart. He immediately bought as soon as I released the audit report for Zen NFTs, and so he front run the price action, tripled his money, and happy as a clam. So, and of course, the price dumped afterwards because buy the rumor, sell the news. It works the same way. So totally normal. But also, if we just talk about the chart, in the very beginning, when Zen was first traded on day one, it was $200. Somebody sold $200 worth of Zen to someone else for $1.50 per Zen. Was Zen worth $1.50?
For $1.50, or I guess it was 1.5 cents. $1.50.
$1.50. The first trade, $1.50. Or that's what I saw on chain, and we can see it.
Mm-hmm.
On Uniswap, that was the ratio. Now that ratio is absolutely meaningless because it was $200 worth of liquidity. That's it. So it's like somebody's very thirsty, and you see another dude, and they're carrying an orange or a water bottle, and the guy is so thirsty, he's like, I want this water bottle. I'm gonna pay you $100 because I'm gonna die if I don't drink it. Now they exchanged the money, exchanged the water bottle. The guy drinks it. He's very happy. The guy runs away with $100 now, and that becomes the first point on the chart. Does it make the water worth $100? No. But in that instance, in those circumstances, it was exactly $100. Now, what does it do to the chart? Well, it makes it look like crap. But I would say let's not worry about the chart. It's only been 100 days. It looks like a Dutch auction chart to me, actually. And if you guys know what the Dutch auction is, it's a method of price discovery. It's a combination between, or it's two opposing forces. It's the buyers and the sellers, and then the cost of gas is coming in from the bottom. So right now, you cannot make a profitable mint unless you mint for 150 days. Guess what? What kind of message it gives to the second group, people who mint short, for the short time period. Well, they can't mint anymore. It's like throwing money away. So all of those guys are going away. We only are now left with the long-term minters. Those guys are real investors. They understand Zen. They understand the protocol. They understand the ecosystem and the roadmap. Likely going to be staking their Zen. Likely will be selling it less than the short-term guys. And short-term guys are being vaporized right now just because, well, it doesn't make any sense to mint short-term. So
Jack, really short here on this one. What is the time frame on Phoenix? Because we have seen it on the roadmap, and people are really excited for that as well.
That's not our coin, by the way. That's some other dude. His name is Joe, and very cool dude. He made Zen.fyi dashboard. It's his own project. It follows first principles, immutable, no admin keys, no OA, and you need to burn Zen, and you get the Phoenix conversion, then you can stake it for APY. So it's completely his project. We're obviously have him in the developers group, and we're very excited for it to come out because it's the first time somebody else is developing something new.
And here we have a
So you don't
rhetoric
think
question.
that, no, David, give me a moment. So you don't think that Phoenix is like a vampire attack, for example?
A vampire attack on Zen?
Yeah, because you know you need to give up your XEN in order to get this one, for example.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think if every new protocol did exactly the same thing, it would be amazing for the Zen holders because it actually reduces supply. And I want to tell you guys that this is not a coincidence that it's happening. When we designed Zen, we have created the proof of burn protocol inside the contract so that people could extend this protocol with burning and issuing other assets, other digital assets. We have another NFT project that not done by us. It's called Zen Heads. And that protocol also runs proof of burn. So people are burning Zen, getting a Zen head. There's also something called Flex UC rank or something like that. Bunch of interesting things. So we want the proof of burn to be used. And that's why we actually have all of the code open source so people can extend it. So yeah, I mean, like, there's no such thing as a vampire attack on Zen because we want it to be a building block for the new ecosystem.
I'm bringing it up because like a lot of people out there are thinking that if you have one product and then people are starting to build on top of your product, that this is considered to be like a vampire attack or considered to be the they try to just take like new buying pressure away, like to their own product, for example. And I am also not like that. I don't see it like that. I see that more cryptos, more good cryptos, you know, the no admin keys, immutable code, audited, and so on, you know.
Yeah.
Those should get promoted more and more, and we should have like a big variety of that. And the more people who are using crypto because there are more projects in the end, the better it is for the whole society and for all the prices as well, I guess.
I totally agree. I think originally Ethereum, right? So Ethereum looks like everybody's doing vampire attack on Ethereum because everybody's building a new token, right?
Thousands and thousands of them, no?
Yeah. So Ethereum should be dead by now, like no blood at all left, and yet it's better than Bitcoin.
So here we have a rhetorical question by Hextronaut. I like this guy a lot. Ask Jack why he blocked me. Well, he's probably blocking you because you ask question like this. Nothing will help the Zen chart down forever. And I can frame it in a different way. Who should ever buy Zen in the future to make the price go up?
Should I answer the first question first?
Sure.
Okay. So this guy was on Twitter and he was spamming my tweets with a lot of negativity and zero research. And so eventually I got fed up with him and he got blocked because he was just very, very annoying and he brought no any sort of benefit to being present. And all of the replies were his, right? There were hardly any people there able to reply because he was always there zooming in. Like he had this weird fixation on me, maybe my tweets, whatever. I mean, like, hey, I can unblock him if he behaves. So if he behaves, maybe apologizes and he doesn't even need to apologize. I don't care. But yeah, it's just I wanted my users to have better experience and not have his spam all over my tweets. But anyway, who will buy Zen in the future? Well, it's actually a good question. So let's go back to the fact that right now, for you to actually break even, you need to mint for 150 days. Okay. So I would say if you don't mint for 150 days, you're going to be losing your money. Doesn't make sense. Now, let's say that next protocol, the reflection token, and maybe a new NFT is coming out, and you need Zen to participate. Will you be waiting 150 days to participate? Well, you want to participate now, tomorrow, maybe next week, but not in 150 days. So what can you do? Go and buy some Zen. That is the only option. Otherwise, you just can't get it, right? You wouldn't have enough to play. So it's like Monopoly money that, and everybody's inviting you to play Monopoly, but nobody gives you the money, right? So you can't mint it. You have to wait. Waiting is 150 days to 100 days is too long. So another option, ape in and get some Zen and participate if you want. I mean, nobody's forcing you, but that would be the mechanic that I see.
And it seems like we have Richard Hart in the chat as well. And he's saying about something that we have touched in the beginning. Zen is a DDoS spam attack that is increasing gas costs and making everybody poorer. And what can you say against that?
Oh, hi, Richard. Glad you're joining us, and really glad that you're wearing a black T-shirt just like me. So you're kind of like more like one of us right now, right? Not no more Gucci stuff. That's awesome. So I really love the the conference. So making everybody poor. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at Ethereum. It doesn't make me feel like I'm poor because Ethereum is rallying and everybody's happy. And Zen contributed to 30% of gas burn, making it deflationary. Everything pumped, including HEX. Why is it not a good thing? And it also made the network more secure by giving more reasons to be a validator. I'm not a validator. There's always a question, is Jack a validator? Do I have 1 billion ETH? I don't have 1 billion ETH and I'm not a validator, but I can understand how being a validator today is a good idea because it makes the network more secure. You get your rewards. There's plenty of burn happening. Zen is contributing to the burn. So it's not making anybody poorer. It's making everybody better. The ecosystem is thriving and Zen is helping it to thrive, just from the development perspective and the usage perspective.
One side question here. When did you actually got into the crypto market?
2011.
Early adopter of crypto as well, so to speak.
Yeah, I sold the top to Richard at $30. Yeah, Bitcoin. I don't think either of us are happy about that. So,
yeah. Did you rebuy it too?
Of course. Well, I was the miner, so I mined for like 3 years.
You mined for 3. And when did you start mining? Like in 2011 as well. Early 11.
Yeah. I was making 3 Bitcoins per day mining. So yeah, and I mined for about 3 years.
Well, congratulations to that for sure. Mike,
I gave it all away. I do not have any Bitcoin actually. The guy who was buying pizza, that was me.
All right, and you probably also had a boat accident, I guess, and then lost your seed phrase and everything like this.
No, that did not happen. But I just was buying, lunches and pizzas and giving it to friends as gifts, that sort of thing.
Let's talk more about layer 1 because we have this question here. Will Zen layer 1 beat Pulse chain to market?
I actually don't know. I think Pulse chain could come out tomorrow. I mean, haven't Richard been working on it for 2 years at least? So he has I just decided to do it this week. He has 2-year head start on me. So he should definitely come out sooner, potentially.
And I just heard you saying lately that it could come out in 2 weeks, and that's why it originated the thumbnail from. So
yeah.
So that's what we're waiting for now, Jack.
Right. So it's very easy to launch a blockchain. if you don't copy the state. You just download the blockchain open source software, you set up your validators, you invite people to participate, and you're good to go. In fact, we've been running a private blockchain for a while now. We developed all of the Zen stuff on it. So making it publicly accessible is just one little toggle. Now, the hard part, obviously, is the software development, specifically where we're talking about bridgeless conversion, that sort of thing, making things safe. That will require some development, obviously. And of course, I would say that Richard has much bigger task because there is the AMM price fixer bot and this and that and the copy of the state. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work for Pulse Chain because the scope of work is bigger. My scope of work is tiny. You just get the blockchain up and running, you set up the proper protocols to convert burned Zen between the chains, set up the Stargate partnership, and set up the Etherscan kind of like, the UI for it, and you're good to go. Boom, you're done. And then you just invite everybody to play. So no big deal. I mean, 2 weeks is probably a good timeline, but I would say, I want to get the staking NFTs out, and I want to get the reflection token out, and I'm not really rushing. Let's just say that's
so
the
there
case.
is a lot of things to do, and you are not by yourself doing this. I hope there are a lot of other people. And Retro Crypto is saying, who is we? How big is the team behind Jack Levin?
It's 2 or 3 other people. That's my core team. They get paid by me. So we're the co-founders of the whole thing. And they worked with me for a very, very long time, doing all of the startups that I founded in the past. So I know those guys. That's the core development team. And then, of course, there's other people who are just volunteering, writing open source software. Those guys don't get paid, but they're very, very happy to be Zenians because they're minting Zen and they believe in the future of the Zen ecosystem and they want to be part of the builder group.
So you see, the people are really excited for Zen Chain. What is approximately the time frame? You said you want to work on other things first, but is it Q4? Is it Q3? Give us something, please.
9.5 weeks.
I will still advertise the 2 weeks and put some pressure on you here.
So in human time, or in vampire time?
Well, in human time. I mean, I've been a vampire for a very, very long time. I'm used to the human measure of time. So let's do human time.
Yeah, I heard that you said somewhere that you are 125 years in vampire.
That's what people told me that my age is, because one of the Hexicans, they're like, oh, he was born in, that was like a meme that they did. He was born in 1870 something, 85. So I just remembered it and I counted it. I guess it's 135 years old at least.
Well, in my mind, there are 3 reasons why people call you a vampire. First of all, because of the vampire attack, so to speak, right? Then second, because you make it popular as well. And then you have posted this picture where you are shown, and today you don't look any older as well. So this is really vampire-like, as I think. Let's go to this question here.
It's true. It's true. It's. I'm also part of the Illuminati, and we report to the lizard people that evolved from the dinosaurs, and they control everything.
Let's go to the next question. Any relations to from Zen Apex NFTs to Supply and Board Ape Yacht Club? Both have 10,000 total, or is it just a random number?
It's a standard number for NFTs. Generally, 10,000 considered to be good. Anything under is way too rare. Anything over is not rare enough. People are used to 10,000, so it's not really ape related. It's just a number.
So many questions here, and I'm really trying to pick the best ones right now. So is Zen Burn the only way to get the Zen Layer 1 token?
That is what we're thinking right now, because in the game theory mechanics, it helps the people who hold Zen and who are Zen minters and investors, even if they don't go to the new chain. If a lot of people burn Zen, it's great for them because well, there's less supply and the value is higher. So we're thinking, yes, that's going to be the case. So the only way to get the new token is to burn. And again, I mean, Zen is it's really funny. Like, people were screaming, Zen is free, it's worthless, and then they're saying, no, Zen is not free, you have to pay gas. So which one is it? Right? So it's somewhere in between, right? It's definitely free because you don't have to buy it by exchanging another token for it. You can just mint it, but yet you have to pay the gas tax. So, and the gas controls the value.
It's kind of the same like with a lot of coins we got out like last year, where a group of people got incentivized in the beginning, and this group were able to claim a certain part, and everybody also said it like for free, yeah. But still,
Yeah.
you had to pay the claim function.
Right. Well, here the claim function is interesting because, by the way, did you guys know that the more people participate in minting Zen, the bigger your reward is? So it's
I heard that, yeah. I mean, it's not changing that much, but it's changing, yeah.
yeah, it's actually changing. It's the what we call a C rank delta. It's the number of users that come after you. The more people you invite, the bigger your reward. But it's also rewarding everybody else before you too.
So the next question by Hex Mackenzie: is it possible to be able to add more Zen to already staked Zen?
No, you cannot do it with the existing stake function. However, you should be able to do it with NFTs. Because NFTs, you can actually do a stake ladder. So stake ladder, for example, NFT 1, NFT 2, and NFT 3. One is 1 year, the other one is 6 months, and the third one is 3 months. So regular ladder stuff, and you can have 3 of them. And you can put them up for sale if you wanted to and see if you get any offers. So that's cool too.
So one of the reasons why I am in crypto is because I want to make money, and I want to make money now. And how much does it taper off the inflation? I guess the 8 years seems like a very long time. Won't the interest in the project fade off first?
Not if we keep coming out with new stuff. Like it's been only 100 days. And I tell you guys, 100 days ago, I didn't have a project in mind. It's literally has been in my mind for about 4 months. Like, I had no idea it's going to happen. But then one of the Hexicans, they kept saying, when is the Jack coin coming? And I'm like, oh, well, I guess people want the coin, so let's make one. So it was you guys from your community that actually got me excited about building something. And so now I'm building. But yeah, to answer the question directly, I think 8 years is not a long time. If every 3 months there's new thing coming out is built on Zen, so it just makes Zen giving it more utility. So ultimately, utility and the users is what gives it value.
This is always what it is with crypto. It's a social consensus, and this is why we like it.
Yeah.
So let's see what else do we have here. So
I have a funny one, like where does all the ease go? I find it like funny, yeah, because we showed it on stream like pretty fine, like with ultrasound.money, where the ease is going. So yeah, I liked it comment.
Where is it going? Is there an answer?
Yeah, to the miners, and it gets burned. So
actually, it doesn't go to the what goes to the miners is literally 1 or 2 GUI per transaction. That's it.
yeah, and the rest gets burned. Yeah.
Yeah, the base fee is burned. 1 or 2 GUI goes to the miners. Yeah, that's the screen right there. So you can see how much is burned. The total transaction is $4.17. 31 GUI was the gas price. The gas fee was 30 GUI plus 1.5 GUI in the max priority, which is the tip. That went to the validators. The rest of it got burned.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what makes Ethereum so great and deflationary, and that's why everybody should invest in Ethereum. Not a financial advice, obviously, but if I were to choose a core holding or large cap, it would be Ethereum, just because Ethereum gets the benefit from all the crazy shit we're building, right? Because everything we build, Zen, something else that's coming later that we don't even know is going to burn a lot of it just by activity. So Vitalik is a genius. Love Vitalik.
So we have a comment here in the super chat from Sasquatch. Thank you so much for your $20. I sincerely believe that many of the comments from both sides, Richard and Jack, were taken out of context and created imaginary problems. I really wish the two of you could make up and work together. Do you see yourself working with Richard hard in the future?
Absolutely. If Richard and I mean, like, I have nothing against Richard. I think he's very smart. I like the guy. And I really don't care about his purse collection. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, the guy, I mean, anybody can be whatever they want to be. I really do not care. I am really was attracted to him originally by seeing his amazing interviews that he would spend 3 or 4 hours in front of YouTube just spewing knowledge that people actually needed to learn. And that was my initial kind of attraction to the community too. And so if Richard comes to me and says, "Hey, Jack, I don't think you're a vampire. I don't think you're 135 years old. I don't think you're a scammer," I would not have any issues working with the guy. Whatever is that we could build together, we probably should. So we can have a lot of good synchronicity right there.
Well, I definitely want to see that. I know Jimred Crypto is working on that really hard to you and Richard coming together. And we're seeing here in the chat, people really demand that. So we will probably see that in the future, I'm guessing here.
I hope so. I think Richard should keep wearing the black T-shirt, and he should resurrect the old Richard. I think we all want the old Richard back. I mean, don't you guys want the old Richard back?
He will probably never come back, and that's his thing, I think he does really good. Hex did 10,000x and made me financially free, so I want Richard to be just like he is. Can Hex be run on Zen chain and fix end-stake fees?
That's a stupid question. I'm sorry. Yes. How?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
then you would need to deploy but you need to deploy a new hex, right? So it cannot be the hex of the ETH chain. So in order to fix end stake fees, you would need to deploy like something else, something new, or fork the chain. So that's why Pulse chain will fix the end stake fees for hex as well.
I hear what you're saying.
You cannot like end. Yeah, but then explain me, how can I end stake a native hex stake on a different chain?
Okay, let me draw a picture for you. So let's say you're a Hex T-share holder and your end stake is coming up and you do not want to pay all that gas, especially if the gas is skyrocketing and you don't want to pay $500 just to end your stake, or maybe it's $1,000, I don't know, whatever. The longer it is, the more you pay. That's the problem. Now, let's imagine that somehow you're able to encapsulate that stake, extend the Hex contract into some other protocol. And that protocol can then plug into the same Hex contract on the new chain. And so what happens is you're not really copying the state, but you're doing a lookup to see what's happening and what's happening in this new protocol that we just designed. And then what you can do is you can basically set up liquidity protocols where you can say that the new hex that lives in your wallet on the new chain can be swapped one-to-one between chains for somebody else's hex, like, so to speak, right? So you can basically do the liquidity pools that will allow people to deposit their hex, and then you can have a protocol. It's kind of like a flash loan, but not really, or like borrowing against the collateral. So you can collateralize your T-share, claim your T-share on the new chain, and then if the relationship is maintained one-to-one between the chains, you can then have people give up the native hex for the hex on the new chain. So that's how stable coins work too. So you're not really transferring the true.
Yeah, but I don't have but I don't have liquid hex in the native chain because I have the staked hex on the native chain.
I understand. But what you can do on the Ethereum, you can say that I am giving up the control of the T-share claim to someone else, and that someone else is giving me
Yeah, but that is not possible on native stakes. That's what I wanted to go. Like with Icosa or with Hedron, that's possible because they have like on top of the hex smart contract, they have their smart contract. So that's why this
that's
is
what I'm
possible
saying.
to change ownership and so on.
So the way that Hedron does it, it's a contract that extends hex contract, right? So you encapsulate your stake, correct? So if you can encapsulate your stake and it becomes liquid, that means now you can go cross-chain.
Yeah, but only new stakes and no native stakes. So you cannot encapsulate a old stake. Yeah, like only from the since the get-go of the Hedron smart contract. Since then, you can make like new kinds of stakes, like with the option to move.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. So it looks like it would not be possible because the stakes, the T-shares are not mobile. So there's no way that you can make it mobile between chains. So I take it back. It's probably not possible. I just thought that Hedron actually somehow solved that problem. So I was borrowing the
only
Hedron.
for for the new stakes which are made through the Hedron protocol.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But
so
the power of community is really there, and we see here a suggestion. Maybe we could burn Ethereum hex for Zen chain, and then maybe have like if you burned hex on the Ethereum chain, then this is the proof, just like your solution without bridging.
Yeah, that's possible. If there is a protocol that basically keeps a record of your wallet and how much hex you burned, then you can receive hex on the new chain.
And I must say, it's the first time that I see so many people in the chat that we get so many super stickers. I'm really not able to see them all here. So I'm sorry if I maybe missed your super sticker here. Definitely keep on asking those questions. Next question is from Marcelo. What is the APY for staking Zen?
It's 19% right now. And every 90 days, it drops by 1%. But when you stake, you can stake for 1,000 days and you can lock in that APY for the whole period. So it's like mortgage for the house. You lock in the rate.
Next staking question about NEX. On NEX, if I stake for 10 years, can I unstake, or is it a mandatory 10-year, just like in HEX, for example?
Nothing is mandatory. You can unstake if you want. You're just going to give up the some of the yield and you're going to pay a little bit of the penalty. So it depends on where in the time period you unstake. If you claim NEX right away after the round of the burn, like the same day, we think the penalty will be 30% for the NEX emissions. If you stake it for a year, this drops to 20%, and the next year it's going to be 15%, the next year 10%, so on and so forth, until you have the whole thing. But at the same time, you're actually also getting yield. So it is possible you will make more yield than the penalties that you will pay. So you can unstake anytime, just have to decide.
And here's also something
Ellen, there is another super chat. Let's just bring up this one first, and because here we have another super chat.
Oh, remember his credentials. Jack worked at Google before you knew about Google. When he makes something, you will see success in image hack. Google now Zen 8 years is little more than half of 15 years stake. And we are all staked for 15 years. We will be here and experiencing the next 8 years for Zen. So that's going to be really interesting.
Thank you.
Why did you choose those 8 years, this time frame?
It's a Fibonacci number.
All right. I do not know how much time we have. I could sit here with you all day and chat. So,
well, I still have a little bit of tea left, so let's keep talking.
So, KSB Lion, what would be some things that you learned out of today when we talked about Zen? Because we were talking about Zen in the future, but in the past, but now we had the founder here. What were the one things that you learned?
I definitely learned a lot. So the first thing which is important to understand when it comes to XEN is that you not just only look at the price chart, that you at first need to take some time and learn about the tokenomics about XEN. Then you are also forced to learn about the ins and outs of transaction fees on the Ethereum network, which is good for every new crypto user on the Ethereum network, in my point of view, because if you can manage your transaction fees better, then you save money over time, and saving money over time is definitely not a bad thing. And what else? I like what the roadmap is showing. So like there are still a lot of things to come when it comes to XEN. And yes, I'm pretty curious to find out uh, if the price can really do another 99% drawdown, because I speculate like for myself that it's not the case, because as the bear market is over, as crypto comes out of this hole again, more people are going to transact for sure. We might see gas prices over 50, over 60, over 100 again, like we saw them even in the summer of 2020, when we were not that bullish already as that bullish, after that the last really high up move came. And even if you compare it like to 2019, the year of 2023, in 2019 we also had plenty of cryptos going in a rally. And why not for Ethereum? Ethereum could definitely have a little rally in this year, I guess. And if Ethereum rallies, the fees are rallying, and if the fees are going up, then I guess there are already enough people in the XEN ecosystem that they are just seeing that, and then maybe some of those speculators go ahead and also pump XEN with it. So let's see what comes for this year for XEN. What are you most excited, Jack, for the year 2023 when it comes to XEN?
Well, definitely building all those new things on the roadmap and adding to the roadmap as we go, and engaging with the community and seeing what they want to be built. And obviously, I think the L1 is going to be super fun. I think some people ask me on my Twitter if there's any specs. So I can give some specs right now if you guys are interested.
I bet the people are.
Go ahead.
So obviously it's going to be proof of stake. It will likely be over 100,000 transactions per second on the chain, because we will be using the instant finality, which is very popular with things like Phantom, Cosmos, and Polygon. And
just one question, because last time I researched like all that blockchain stuff, it was more or less that it's suggested that you have at least a 3-second block time in order that all your validators can update themselves. That the consensus is not getting like interrupted, because the block time in between is so short that the validators within each other cannot really validate.
So that depends on a few things. Polygon, for example, they only have 100 validators and their block time is 2 seconds. And the reason why they can do well is because they have a round robin proof of authority mechanism. It is proof of stake, but it's also proof of authority. It's a round robin mechanism that selects from the stakers and really selects really good servers that work fast. The other thing is instant finality is also very important, because you don't need to wait 2 seconds for everything to be validated. The way the transaction works, you get your finality right away as soon as it gets into the blockchain, and then the validation occurs and it's added to the blockchain. So Polygon has proven to work really well with 2 seconds. But of course, I mean, nothing is set in stone. We just want the block time to be fast enough. We don't want to be crazy high on validators, probably going to be under 100 nodes, really. And then we'll set up the delegators too. So the delegator will be choosing their favorite validator from a dashboard, saying this is where my gas token is going to be staked, kind of like a pool. to get the APY from all of the validation.
So here's an interesting question when it comes to the NFTs. What will happen after your Zen NFT mint term is expired and claimed? Will Zen NFTs still have value after Zen being all claimed?
I think it will have value because it has the burned Zen in it, written in. It's like a certificate of burn. So even if it is expired when it comes to the new mint, it's only a small percentage of how much Zen you burned. Because, like, for example, with the Apex unicorns, you're burning 10 billion Zen NFTs, and you cannot make 10 billion in mint with one Zen NFT anyway. So 10 billion in the future may actually be worth more than what it is now, which I think is about $20,000. We have 27 Zunicorns minted to date, which is pretty cool. It's that's the big chunk of the percentage that vaporized the supply. And by the way, there's another website that I want to show you guys, zensquad.com, zensquad.io maybe, yeah. So take a look. It has a beautiful dashboard of all of the Zen burn and the Zen NFTs.
Let's post it in the chat as well.
Yeah, Zen Squad. Let's see if I can bring it up too.
Yeah, put it in a private chat or bring it up, then we can screen share it.
Sure. Squad.com, boom, boom, boom.
I will just
it's an easy question that we can answer while we are waiting. Hexiest man in the world saying, I'm late to the party. What is the name of the layer 1 token? Just Zen? Well, I called it Zen chain. I think that's pretty cool. What is the new name of the new layer 1? You have one already?
We don't have the name yet, but we're thinking maybe Zentopia, maybe Nirvana, one of those silly names. It can be silly as long as it's memorable,
So here we have Zen Squad. Let's bring that up. There we go. What do we see here?
We have the burn supply, and then we have the NFT classes and categories. So the one that's multicolored is the most expensive one. So, yeah. So Zunicorn, if you click in, you can see 270 billions and burned, and that's all of them. And you can have the link on the OpenSea. The link column is all the way at the end. You can see who owns it. But this is a dashboard that just tells you what's been happening, right?
One question here: can people decide to even burn more than the minimum? Because I see like here the guy didn't only burned like how much is it? 10 billion. He made like some 1010s, or here as well, probably the same guy. Here like with 69.
That's the sexy unicorn right there. Yeah, you can burn as much as you want. As long as you burn the minimum, you're good.
And what is the minimum?
All right.
10 billion.
In that case, 10 billion. But it's only like for the most expensive or the most rarest as well. The unicorns, right?
Zunicorn. It's like unicorn with an X.
Is it? An X,
and
yeah.
Jack, what was the one that you were saying this has the best value right now?
If you reset the filter.
Yeah. That was Centurion?
Zenturion, yeah. Just click on Zenturion when it comes up. You can see there's a lot of them. And they're all... So the reason why they have the best value is because they have the most VMUs. VMUs are the virtual wallets. And if you want to use them for trading on OpenSea, you want them to be maxed out. And those guys are maxed out. So yeah, they have more value, basically. You could probably sell them for like $1,000, but the mint overnight is like 600. And we actually see the activity on OpenSea. It tells you who is selling what, and those guys are very popular.
And look at this, we already have some interesting names here. Branding is important, and maybe you could call it Vampire Network. That would definitely give you something to talk about.
And the undead empire.
And then other one that I like even more is Fair Crypto Blockchain. This already gives it a positive spin, maybe.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I like it.
So we are 2 hours into the stream. Jack, thank you so much for being here and helping us understand Zen. I hope you guys had a lot of value out of this stream as well. I definitely learned a lot, and I now learned that I have to do so much more research before I judge a cryptocurrency, because if you make judgments before without knowing things, right, you can make just wrong judgment and maybe miss great opportunities. So Jack, thank you so much for being here, spending the time with us. And KSB Lion, last words go to you.
Yes, of course. So also from my side, thanks to you, Jack, for being here. Thanks to the chat who was like so active this time, and also thanks to all the super chats we got today. And also a little apology from my side. I mean, I don't bash people or something like that, but I was also a little misleaded, or not really happy about Xen in the beginning, because I thought, okay, now we have XEN. Now I need to pay 6 times as much for my end stakes and my start stakes, and I did not really like that. But researching more and more about XEN, learning more about it, I like it more and more, because it goes with the core principles of KSB, with no admin keys, with audits, with free shit for everybody, with no trading, with learn about fee structures, learn about the Ethereum chain, and so on. So that all fits in our concept as well, and that's also a reason why we invited you to the stream today. And thanks again to you, Jack, that you were open for it. And like, yeah, yesterday we talked basically, and today is already our stream. So thanks a
Thank
lot
you.
for doing that with us
Yeah,
today.
amazing. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate all the good questions and the critical thinking. And I want to say that whether you're a Hexican or a Zenian or a Hedronian, whatever that you call yourself, you're always welcome to have a constructive conversation that builds community, that builds goodwill, that educates, that gets us better in the cryptoverse, the way that Joker would say it. Yeah, I think we all have a lot to learn. We are stronger together than we're apart. I am for the I wouldn't say, I guess, unification, but I think we all have the core baseline that we stand on. We love decentralization. We love self-custody. We love not having a counterparty risk or a bank that can take your money anyway, anytime they want, like they did in Canada. Those are the things that unite us. And I think we should do more streams like that. We should educate each other. Like I learned a little bit more about HEX from you, KSB Lion. Thank you. And yeah, I think we're on a positive trajectory. I think if Richard reaches out and says, "Hey, let's work together and let's get the pulse chain up," I want it to go up. I want it to be online. I want to be helpful if I can be, because I have friends that sacrifice money for the freedom of speech and movement and all those good things. And having new interesting chains is great. So I'd love to have Zen there too, and bring more utility to Pulse Chain. So yeah, I mean, I may be a vampire, but I could be nice. So yeah.
So I want to end the stream with this comment here. When will we have the first in-person Zen meetup? I'm totally down to put on a kick-ass event in the community. Well, and you know that KSB TV is in charge of all the events that we are doing in the HEX community. And now maybe we'll have Zen people coming to our events as well. The next big event that we are planning is the HEX Cruise. Check it out on hexcruise.com. And Jack, would you like to come to the HEX Cruise?
I'd love to come. If if you guys guarantee that I don't get murdered.
Oh yeah, we will guarantee that. We guarantee that you will swim with the pigs. So there's a lot of fun going on.
Okay, awesome.
Because those hex haters are not coming to that as well, because they are just haters. They are just like, I don't know what some of those people have. They stand up in the morning and then like, oh, let's go in the internet and accuse lots of
Yeah,
people or something like that.
let's start the trolling routine, right?
The
Yeah.
trolling routine. I like that word.
Yeah, team. I think we're on the same team. We're on team decentralization, team crypto. We can do great things. Thank you guys. Thank for all of the listeners and all of the stream viewers. Appreciate you. Love you guys, and I hope to see you on the Telegram soon. And obviously, DM me anytime on Twitter. My DM is open.
Great word. Thanks you everybody for being here. And now let's finish it off and let's learn more about Zen.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.